Okay, now we're live. There's a
Now we're
delay
live.
when you hit the
All
button
right.
when it goes live.
Let's try that again. How you guys doing? You guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Fantastic.
Good enough. Yeah, Thanksgiving's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Painted a lot. We already talked about
Well,
that.
Yes, you did.
Mhm.
But let's just hop into our snap impressions then. Sheehan, what do you got for us this week?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one of my all-time rewatchable movies. I watch it every Thanksgiving. I watch it with glee. It reminds me of me and my dad when I was like 7 years old. He let me watch it for the first time. Probably too young, but I'll never forget it. This is a 10 out of 10 popcorns if we had that. I love it.
All right. Jimmy, what about you?
This was my first time actually seeing the movie. I've seen bits and pieces. I've definitely seen scenes, and I knew like the whole premise and everything, but I never sat down and watched the whole thing before. And I'm really glad I did. And my main takeaway is that John Hughes has rewritten history for the way our generation will see the 80s. Like the 80s is just a John Hughes movie in my mind.
Valid.
All right.
Very valid.
That's a lot of power that dude has.
Yeah.
And no one's contesting that either. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I just laughed and agreed, so
Yeah.
he's got me too. No, I've seen the movie a few times. I hadn't watched it in years though. I loved it. Although I will say, because this is the first time I ever watched it with more of a critical eye than normally, instead of just enjoying it, a lot of the humor wouldn't fly nowadays. And this might sound problematic, but I miss this type of humor in comedy in movies. When they had the gay panic scene, like I chuckled at it and I was like, that's not right that I'm laughing at a gay panic scene. Fucking 2017's ruined this movie for me now.
I thought you were. I agree with you. I thought you were saying that a different way. And like Steve Martin got away with this. Like any other up and coming comedian tried to do like some of these Steve Martin jokes, it would just be like cringeworthy. It'd be like, oh man, that's pretty corny and lame. But I mean, I love Steve Martin. He's like way up.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I love. One of my questions is, or one of my notes that I wanted to bring up later, but fuck it, let's just bring it up now. Is who do you guys think would be like the Steve Martin of like the latest up and coming generation of comedians?
Ooh. My gut says Will Ferrell.
No, he's
not up and coming anymore.
I said
in
like
his
my
50s,
generation
60s.
though. My generation though. Sorry.
Yeah, but don't you? I don't know, because Steve Martin, I don't think of like I would think there was a time and place when Ben Stiller was Steve Martin when he was doing like Along Came Polly, Duplex, Meet the Fockers. It was always that everything's going wrong for this man and he's freaking out. Like your Father of the Bride and Steve Martin, that character is the same as all those Ben Stiller characters, which I don't like. Well, I like Father of the Bride. I don't like those Ben Stiller movies at all. I hate when Ben Stiller plays the straight man.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about.
I think in order to get a full grasp on it, you have to see what he's done or see it after the fact, because Steve Martin at the time was great. Steve Martin now, he is a god of comedy because he's transcended everything. Everyone follows what he does. His book on comedy is like must-read material for anyone who wants to get into comedy. So that's why I said Will Ferrell, because I think he changed the comedy game too. But up and coming, I think for up and coming it's kind of tough because you have to see their kind of impact they have. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. All right. I agree with you about Ferrell changing like the comedy scene. When I was saying that before, I was thinking more in his wacky, corny type of humor way that works so well for Steve Martin. But I agree with Jimmy. 10 people attempting it couldn't pull it off.
No. And I think my roundabout way of talking about Will Ferrell was just really me saying, I don't know of anyone. So I'm changing your question to better suit my needs.
Fair. All right. Well, now that we've already gotten sidetracked 5 minutes into this, let me get us back on track. Let's hop into our deep dive. Let's start off with our favorites. Jimmy, what were your favorites from this? It was your first time watching it all the way through, so the answer better be the entire movie.
No. This is kind of tough. The whole time I was like, this is a weird answer, but I was thinking how much fun this must have been to write. Like John Hughes wrote this in 3 days, and it was basically, let's list every single thing that can happen terrible while traveling, with every venue of traveling, and like string it together in one plot. And I was just thinking that it had to be like hilarious in the writer's room to be like, and then this is going to happen. It's funny watching it, but I probably was a riot when he was coming up with those in his brain. And that's a weird way to process a movie, but that's what I was thinking the entire time. So just the concept, I guess. This is what you would call a concept movie. So the concept of it alone is pretty good. And then I really liked they brought it home with a touching ending, which is like the last 2 minutes. They really made it touching. John Hughes usually it usually is like, the last 25%, or there's some touching moments. Like there were hints and shit for sure to know that his wife was dead. Like I figured that out way earlier. It's not supposed to be a surprise or anything, but
you piece it together, sure.
Yeah, I like the touching ending, and it was really last second. It was like, is this gonna happen?
Yeah. So to sidetrack us some more, question: how soon after the end of the movie do you think Dell killed himself? I think it's gotta be like 30 minutes.
No, week maybe. No.
You think he lasted a whole week? No way.
No, this dude he is a seasoned veteran of being homeless. Hey, look at him. He looked great for being homeless.
He was doing great homeless, and then he's brought into this house and sees this man who has a home, has a loving family, and they're all just staring at this fat intruder who walked in. That man's gonna cry himself to sleep and then slit his throat the next day.
Yeah, no, he's not. Dell's a strong individual. He likes him. Remember that. His wife liked him.
Until she died. That probably killed her.
He was the biggest pain in the butt that ever came down the pike. No, I thought you were going somewhere different with that, and I was about to jump all over it because I thought you agree with me. Just watching it now with the critical eye, what the fuck how long is he going to stay with him for? Because it's like he'd be like, all right, Dell, go be homeless somewhere else. Bye. No, you can't do that.
I know. They adopted this man, or he kills himself. Those are the only two options.
No, what happens is like his wife has to really take on Dell as a project, and she's got to like him more than, what was Steve Martin's character's name?
Steve.
Fuck, I don't know.
Whatever. She's got to like him.
Neil Page.
She's got to like him more than Neil, and like set him up. Like she's like, Neil's going to go back to working at his miserable job, and his wife is going to be taking Nell all around to like the apartments in town and shit. And like, it's her hobby to set him up. And that's the only way this continues happily.
No. They make a sequel called The Homeless Housekeeper.
Yeah.
Made for the 80s.
Basically, he becomes Uncle Buck to his.
Yes.
All right. Now I'm all in on it. Like, love that roundabout way. This is just an elaborate prequel to Uncle Buck.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it a lot. All right, well, I'm gonna bring it back to favorites because I'm disappointed. There's one scene that's a top notch above everything else, and that's the scene I tweeted out, the car rental scene.
Yes,
that one. Every time I see it, I rewind and rewatch it maybe 3 times.
Steve Martin is
so good.
Best person in that scene.
It's so like pure. Like my hate is it's not full of heart. It's made of it. My Jesus Christ. My heart is not filled with hate. It's made of hate. And this one was like just like. Have you ever had a problem at a car counter? There's nothing more infuriating, and that just embodied everything. Like fuck you, fuck them. You left me in the middle of fucking nowhere. Keys to a fucking car that wasn't fucking there. Love it.
All I could think when I was watching that scene was the amount of tweets I've read from you dealing with the DMV up in Connecticut.
Yes.
I was dying laughing.
The lady at the end looking at you in the eye and says, "You're fucked." Yeah, that's exactly what I got every time I went there.
It was perfect casting to put her alongside that. Like, what's her name? Edie McClurg is that actress's name?
She's her name.
She
I thought she was like bitch. I thought she was like counter lady number 1.
Might be Eddie. No, she was in a lot of shit.
She's in a few things.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her. Sorry.
She was in Ferris Bueller.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. She's
very observant, so.
the principal's like assistant.
Yeah. That like chases him around. I feel like she was a big she was probably a character actress at the time, but she was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, well noted. She did a fantastic job here.
All right. Well, that was going to be my favorite scene I brought. I was going to bring up that scene too, just because I love it so much. But I'll pull an audible and go with the scene when they're actually bonding, when they're getting drunk in that hotel room. I really like that one. It's a heartwarming scene. It's less funny, but I cracked up. But it also had another problematic joke when he was making fun of the Jamaicans and their accent.
Cool Runnings.
Before or after Cool Runnings?
It was before.
Yes.
Before?
Oh, was it? I thought this was after. I thought it was a reference.
Like 10 years before.
Yeah, way before.
Oh, fuck. That's what I know.
Probably 7 years before.
Yeah. I love that scene because it showed Del like with his guard down. Up until that point, he was just Del, the happy-go-lucky guy with his guard up. He was like, "Oh, I'm having a great life," but then like it became apparent that the dude's homeless, he's poor, he's broke, and it was the real him, and it was awesome. He's a great guy.
I like that scene because just like the silly turn of phrase to make like things more interesting or funny when he's like, "Have you been to Italy yet? Have you been to Mexico?" Talking about like what drinks have you tried? It's such like it's little, but it's just like that's what funny people do. They just turn the most basic question into some sort of like funny riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that was just them sitting there improving, fucking around.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Any other favorite scenes you guys want to discuss?
My first, like, it wasn't a huge laugh, but it was like an ongoing giggle when Nell, for the first time, is like, "I even let you pay for it so you wouldn't feel bad." I was like, I giggled, and then it was like a growing giggle. Like it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So I came to the real.
I want to say some of my favorite things. You know me with old movies. I love the details. Oh boy, the details. Everything like the little Dorito bag. Remember those growing up, like the white and orange Dorito bags?
Oh, yeah. Missed those.
The way they dressed. Like I still remember, like my dad's a mechanic, so he didn't get dressed up that often, but he did one day a year, probably sometime, and he had the big wide ties with the paisley shit all over it, and they all had like the really like rough fabrics, nothing smooth. Yeah, it's just love the old.
It's a very nostalgic movie for me, but also this movie made me realize just how much I love movies set in the snow, because it happened with the Snowman and Murder on the Orient Express. This was a very cozy movie. I'd like to cuddle up with a girl, throw this on, have a little Afghan, make some like hot tea or some hot chocolate, and enjoy a nice relaxing night.
I'm with you. I think it might be because we're in December. Like I don't know how to throw it, but movies in the snow are like near and dear to my heart, and I didn't realize this until like we're just saying it now, and because we would set it with Snowmen and Murder, and I just like put me in the
like snow. It brings a smile to my face watching these.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, so yeah, I agree with that. That's a good. They had to like work really hard to find snow. I was reading about the making of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they went to like a million different places, and the snow would melt whenever they got there.
That sucks. That's tough. I'm not going to discount it at all, but I mean, sure, you guys like the snow, whatever. But whenever I saw the snow in this movie, I didn't feel cozy at all. It just felt like it's actually what I loved about it. They made it feel because they didn't have the white fluffy snow. They had the dirty, shitty, salt-ridden, sand-ridden sludge crap that you see. That's real snow, not the fairy tale shit that you saw in the Snowman. That's real snow when it's like you got gravel in it and you fall down and you're getting scraped up. It's not so fun anymore. Chunks of ice everywhere. Love it. It's real.
But I think I love that. I hate snow, by the way. I think I love that because it reminds me when I was a little kid and would play in the snow, and it's fun for the first 5 minutes, and by the end of it, you're miserable. But there's something comfort. Well, I also lived in Chicago for 10 years.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But there's something like comforting about those memories of it wasn't fun in the moment, but I look back on it fondly.
True.
I like snow.
Like I said,
played hockey. I like winter.
Yeah, no, winter's my favorite season. It's just it can.
I just hate when people try to make it so fluffy and pure. It gets real dirty real quick.
Oh yeah, it gets nasty. But you were saying about
the first fall is great. I'll admit that. When it first falls and it is pretty, nothing better. The last 6 hours max.
To touch on the Doritos, the old Doritos, and just the olden times and the way they dress and shit. Steve Martin's outfit, I was like, man, look what he's wearing as like with the hat and the coat. Shit's like he looks like he's from the 1960s. Then I realized, well, 1987 is closer to 1967 than it is to 2017.
Oh, fuck me.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? We're further away from this than in the 1960s. That's why, like, the cop cars, the cars, like, in my brain, I wasn't alive for the 60s. Are like, this kind of looks like the 60s to me.
Wow, you're right. Good point.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. That just blew my mind.
Also, like, carrying around cash, he's like, I had $700 in my wallet.
Yo, is he a drug dealer?
If I went to the ATM and put $700 in my wallet, the only place I would ever fucking go is inside the bank to make sure I didn't have to walk around with $700 in my wallet. That is anxiety. That's scary as hell.
Absolutely. I made a note being like, who the fuck carries that much cash? And then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, I guess it was a different time. Not everyone accepted credit cards. You kind of needed to have cash on you.
And another point made is later on when they got robbed, they're like, well, I got one credit card, and then I got a Diners Club and a gas card. No one had credit cards apparently.
Yeah,
that wasn't just standard. Like like today, everyone has like 3 credit cards, debit card. You know, they have cards. Apparently, that wasn't a thing. He had to have his safety deposit box and then his wallet. That's the only 2 places he had his money. Weird.
What? I'm gonna do something in the background here, but I'm gonna see how much $900 is worth in today's money in 1987. Because that thief just made like bank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a shit ton of money. All right,
I'm gonna run a guesstimate. It's gonna be, I'm gonna say it's $2,300.
2,300. I'm gonna go 2,700.
900 in 1987 would $1,927.
Not far off.
Yeah. You were much closer.
That dude robbed him. Those guys were walking around with $2,000. Well, combined, they had $2,000 in cash on their person. What fucking nut jobs? I mean, that was the times, but
yeah,
Jesus.
It's the times. You just gotta be a big baller.
That's incredible.
All right. Any other favorite things before we move on to what we didn't like about the movie?
No, I'll start with the didn't like because I have one that is pressing.
Okay, lead it away.
And this is a product of the times. But not really, because no other John Hughes movie I can think does this. But that's stupid montage when they go through the trucks and they turn to skulls and then he's in a devil outfit. Might get cheap. Like, Sheehan, you may have watched this as a little kid and you laughed from that. So you still laugh because, like, you have memories of it. That was, like, come on, guys. John Hughes, don't put this in your movie. Don't do that. That was terrible.
I can't be unbiased about it, so I'll let you have it. I thought it was. I chuckled again when I watched it. I was like, "Oh yeah, this scene's in it."
It's totally different from the entire movie.
I'm with you. Sorry, you broke up a little there. I was trying to piece together in your brain what you were saying. I'm with you. It was weird. It didn't go.
Yeah, it didn't go. Yeah,
I didn't hate it per se, but it wasn't good.
I mean, it's my one complaint from a very good movie. It's like it just completely didn't go. It was like you just wanted to test out some special effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I think the reason I actually don't hate that scene or didn't not like it was probably because first time I saw this, I was way too young, and it's very much something I could see popping up in a kids movie more. It was just wacky is the best word I think I can. The best way to describe it. And I liked wacky shit as a kid. Who doesn't? So because that's when I saw it, my brain still goes there when I see it.
And I take back what I just said earlier. John Hughes has done this before. In Home Alone, when they turn to fire or whatever, he turns Marv turns into a skeleton. So maybe that's like a staple of his. So if it's in more than 2 movies, I'll allow it. If it's just those 2, take it out of Planes.
It was like his it was his guilty pleasure. He always stuck into every movie, apparently.
Yeah. So I was also reading, just a little side thing. The first draft of this was Nell, John Candy, was a vampire who needed to be invited to Steve Martin's house to like do vampire shit because vampires can only go where they are invited. and it didn't get written out and become a wholesome family movie until they were on set, and he saw they were like doing pre-production, and he saw the chemistry between Martin and Candy. Isn't that
ridiculous?
That's amazing, and I want to see that cut of this movie.
No, I'm glad I didn't. That sounds like
shot it. Thank God.
That sounds like something I would watch.
I mean, I'd probably hate it, but how great would it be to like that last scene where you're seeing Del's face and just like his fangs start growing down or something? That would be amazing.
Big reveal. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't like how you just told me that. That feels weird. It makes me feel very weird about the whole thing now.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense.
That's incredible.
I got a dislike that is much more bringing back to the movie and not like ruining things for me, Jimmy. When he got out of the shower and he was like, "Oh my God, look at this mess, dude!" The mess was there when you walked in the shower.
Yes, that's bullshit. Like, how do you not see that? Did he come in when he was in the shower and wreck it?
What'd you say?
I'm blanking. Remind what happened.
When he was walking the shower thing and like the water went off and he was the whole thing. He opens up the shower curtain and it's a disaster. Like all the towels that use, there's shit all over the floor. It's like disgusting.
Oh yeah. Oh, he only has the one towel left.
Yeah, he you know that when you walk into the bathroom because it's not like John Candy's in there with him getting naked. I don't think so. Judging by how they acted beforehand,
probably not.
But like that was like a movie thing where they kind of like, all right, we'll just pretend the audience is stupid and we'll just do this big reveal.
Yeah, just going off of that too. There was a couple scenes later when they woke up in the morning and he went to go wash his face and use the underwear.
Yep,
that was another time I was just like, you don't see there's a giant fucking pair of underwear. Like I've never been that tired or that hungover or anything in my life where I would accidentally rub someone's underwear on my face.
And who dries their socks in the sink? Who's washing their socks?
Well, a guy who doesn't have a home and lives at a hotel for the next 8 years or whatever.
Very valid. And
does explain why his feet smell.
By the way, how the hell do you, a homeless man, live in hotels for 8 years? That's expensive.
And be that fat still.
Right.
It's a lot of
Lots
money.
of problems. We're poking a lot of holes in this movie, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time we're done, we're bringing it down.
Okay, so yes, he's homeless, but do you think he doesn't actually sell shower curtains then? I felt like he still had money.
No, I think he sells shower curtains. He's a traveling salesman.
Well, yeah, that's how he affords to be in hotels. Yeah, but you were just like, how does he afford to be in hotels?
Yeah, you're right.
And working.
That's true. Very true.
All right. For a second, I was like, wait, did he fake that whole thing? And I never picked that up till now.
I do love that salesman job. I mean, you go to the Midwest, you can sell anything because they're all idiots.
Hey,
Here's the Daryl Strawberry autographed ring. It's not really autographed. It's a replica. Those are filled with helium.
Fuck you.
Helium. That's why they're so light.
I got a free shot from faking an autograph once.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Where I had a World Baseball Classic Derek Jeter jersey I got from Goodwill. I stole it from Goodwill, actually. I just put it on and walked out because they wanted $25 from it. And I was like, yo, you're Goodwill.
You're a scumbag. You stole from Goodwill?
Yeah, it's very scummy. It's very scummy. I was 19 years old in college. So.
That's prior to 20, you're fine.
Yeah, and then I faked a Derek Jeter signature on the back and wore it to the bar. And this guy was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, that's him. And then he bought me a couple shots. That's so cool. It's fucking dumb, man.
So he just got some shots. Did you give him the jersey?
No way. I still have it, I think.
Oh my God, what a fucking idiot. I thought you traded the jersey for 2 shots. Like, well, you're an idiot. He's just a loser.
He just thought I was cool because I got a Derek Jeter signature autograph.
What a loser.
Big time loser.
What an idiot. Jesus
Very
Christ. Hard
to be a bigger loser than the kid wearing a fake Derek Jeter autographed jersey at the bar. But that kid did it because he was impressed by it.
Yeah, I just kind of glanced at the fact that you were just completely ridiculous in that one.
I think it was Halloween. I just wore that. I was Jeter.
Okay.
I'm so at a loss for words right now. Like,
That's a great story.
That's incredible. I'm glad you found the bigger loser than you.
Yeah.
You are the Del Griffith of World Baseball Classic jerseys.
Legit. I wonder where that is.
You better
All
wear
right.
it next week's episode. All right. Any other dislikes, you guys? No?
He
Not
yelled. He yelled at the dog.
Well, the dog was being a dick.
The dog was a sweetheart. That was his home, and he sat in his home.
That dog could get kicked.
You're a cat person. I could tell.
No, I like dogs. You've seen the dog run around in here
I see
before.
the cat behind you too. Imposter.
Yeah, I have a cat and a dog, you fuck.
I'm not fond of either, really, if that makes it any better.
Shut up, Gary.
Hey, it's L. Gary.
It's
Giant Gary staring at me. All right.
Well, then let's go into
Move on to ratings.
Well, no, we still got a couple of things first. Slow your roll.
Oh, sorry, guys.
The writer's room. Would you guys change anything about this if you were making it today?
Not a thing. It's a masterpiece for a reason.
Well, let's. What are some new inconveniences that weren't part of 1987 traveling, but could be part of it now? Like you get in an Uber who. What do Ubers do that really suck? Or
No, we can't get that dark. It has to be like inconvenience, not like horrifyingly masochist.
Fair. They don't have your phone's dead and they don't have a power cord.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, dead phone.
the surcharge is like 20 times because it's
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Wow.
I mean,
Why we're not comedy writers?
They do most of them, but all the extra costs at like traveling now, like buy your ticket, $50 for a bag, $50 for exit row, like all that upselling they do. Forced upselling.
I know. You know how when he gets onto the plane and he thought he had first class?
Yeah.
Before that, he's in he's part of boarding group A, but they take the veterans on first, then the handicaps, and then the people traveling with children, and then the Gold Star members, and then Gold Star Plus, and the Silver members. So he ends up being like one of the last people on the plane. Has it ever happened to you? It happens to me all the time.
That happened to me yesterday when I was flying back.
Yeah, I'm in boarding group A. I'm the 52nd person on the plane.
Yeah, that would have been great if it was, and they would have had him on like a Spirit Airlines or something where it's just first come first serve, and he was like, "Oh, I'm A1. I'll be able to get on and get my seat," and then he's like the 50th person has to sit in the back.
Oh yeah, and he's flying out of Seattle, and he gets bumped by 17 people wearing Russell Wilson jerseys. Which is the stupidest fucking thing in the world. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys would change? I would just kind of make sure it ends on a note with.
Oh, I know. When he's the final ride, he's in the back of a dairy farm truck, the freezer truck. Hit a bump and have some milk fall on him. That'd be hilarious.
I think that just would have been like salt in the wound at that point.
I know. I'm just saying, make it a little bit, one less jab before he gets home because he was home free. We knew it. It's like no, not home yet.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, let's go into our free for all because I just also want to bring up ditch Dell's ass so quick. The amount of patience Steve Martin's character had. After the second thing, I would have been like, I hate people and I'm not dealing with this situation.
Yes, there you go. You're right. If we were changing like to the 2017 movie, this movie wouldn't happen because who wants to fucking talk to somebody?
Yeah, no, that.
Yeah,
you just throw your headphones on and they get the hint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would much rather sleep in a ditch than go to some random hotel with some random person I just met.
Oh, you know, that's how you get killed and your kidney stolen.
Headphones and smartphones cancel out this entire premise.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah. Too when they were waiting on their flight to see if it was delayed or canceled when they were grounded, and nobody had headphones in. They were all reading magazines or talking to each other. I was sitting there thinking, I can't remember the last time I saw that many strangers talking to each other for anything.
Hasn't happened in 30 years.
Fuck. There goes people's social skills.
I'll talk if I want to
All right.
talk.
Any other things before we hop into ratings?
Now let's get into it.
All right. Those listening at home, we know we rate things on a 3-pronged scale. We do our popcorn, which is our entertainment, how much we enjoyed it, would we rewatch it, and then our critical scale, which is looking at through the lens of a reviewer, and then our pairing, what are we going to drink if we do rewatch this? Sheehan, what do you got for popcorn?
We do popcorns first.
Yeah, let's just do popcorn.
I'm switching up. I'm going rogue.
We should all just 5.
5. 100% 5.
Yeah, 5.
Easy.
Very entertaining.
5.
Unanimous 5. That's the first.
Yes.
That's the whole reason why
we're all on the same page.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Critical, I guess. Sheehan, you can go.
Good talk. Okay. Critically, I'm going to give it 83. 83, because it got holes. It's not perfect by any means, but it's got a lot of good redeeming qualities. The fact that they made Dell at the end so lovable, and it was a good, nice, homey feeling at the end. It was wrapped it up perfectly. It had a good balance of slapstick comedy and feely moments. What movies do you know of where you can have a homeless man being welcomed to a home with open arms on Thanksgiving, and just 45 minutes earlier, a guy being picked up off the road by his nutsack? Doesn't happen often. So
yeah, and for people that are listening for the first time, our critical ratings are is this an award-winning movie? It's not, because that may seem low if you're listening, 83 but that's probably the highest critical rating for a movie that isn't trying to win Best Picture we've given, right?
Yeah, no,
for sure.
I know I'm being generous with it, but I can't go much higher than that.
I'm going 80. But
Okay.
I just want to, if people were listening for the first time, they'd probably be like, what the fuck? That's pretty low. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
we're not judging it on what it's trying to be. We're just judging it on if it's actually
it is what it is.
Sound, critically great movie. It's a fun, awesome, hilarious adventures. So I'm going 80, you and 83. We're in the same ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote mine down earlier, and I went 81. So
Hey, look at
we're
us.
on about the same page. I think
Look
it's
at
the
us.
first time for any of our movies, besides maybe Mother, because we all fucking hated that, that we were on the same page.
Yep.
I'm proud of us. It only took 3 months, guys, but we did it, fam.
We're evolving.
All right. Now, on to our pairings. If I'm going to watch this again, I think I'm going to get one of those mini bottles of tequila from a mini bar, crack open a few of those, and watch this movie. What about you guys? Jimmy, you go first.
I wanted something. Shit. I wanted something Christmassy, but now I'm realizing this is just a Thanksgiving movie, but the snow on the ground. So I wanted something like peppermint, even though I don't even like peppermint. But I don't like peppermint schnapps, so I was going to just, I don't know, vodka and some candy canes dumped in.
Excellent choice.
What's a peppermint drink besides...
I don't know. Was that shot where they put peppermint patty shot?
Yeah, the Rumpelmint ones, where it's the peppermint liquor with chocolate syrup.
Sure. That sounds disgusting.
Oh, fuck. All right, Sheehan.
All right.
What are you drinking?
There's only one way to watch this movie, and that's you got rent out a cheap motel. You got to put a quarter in the vibrating bed machine, and you got to crack open a 6-pack of Schlitz, and wait till they explode.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And that wraps up our review of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the Thanksgiving classic. Maybe next year we'll watch it again and redo it again.
I'm watching it again. I know that.
All right. Let's go into our weekly recommendations. This week, I am recommending Wonder Woman. I finally watched it over Thanksgiving break.
About time.
It was good. I'll admit it's the best DC movie. Better than better than Justice League even for few people. That just came out now. I don't know when you're listening to this, but that's in theaters. I think Wonder Woman's better, but I will say I think it's overhyped. It's the best one. It's a great movie, but I think everyone was just so surprised and so excited that there was finally a DC movie that didn't suck that they oversold it.
Fine, but you're a sexist pig.
Apparently, but YOLO.
Okay.
Sheehan, what do you got?
I'm going audio this week. You may or may not know this. I paint a lot now, and you can't really watch anything when you paint. So this is on Thanksgiving. The wife was cooking, she was doing pies and making like mashed potatoes or whatever. I don't know. It was wonderful, whatever it was. And she was listening to Christmas music, and I'm upstairs painting, listening to murder podcasts. That's the different lives we lead. And
my favorite murder?
My favorite murder. I got into that deep. I love
What is
them.
it?
My favorite murder. It's the name of a podcast.
It's two chicks.
Yep.
I've listened to bits and pieces of every episode. For the last 3 weeks, my girlfriend has, as soon as she wakes up, till she leaves the house, as soon as she gets home and falls asleep, my favorite murder is on in the background.
I love those two girls. They're psychotic, but they're just like me. I love talking about murderers and serial killers and Martha Moxley. I love the JonBenet Ramsey. I just love talking about all of it. It's so interesting. Not because
my
I'm
favorite murders.
Yeah, not
I'm
because
I'm right now.
Do it. I'm not into it because I love people dying or anything, but it's so fascinating what these people can do. And more than that, though, it gets you prepared because the more you listen to it, the more you realize, wow, there are really some sick fucks living in this world. And maybe I should have a baseball bat underneath my bed. Maybe I should lock all the doors. Maybe I shouldn't just think that this is a nice, quaint Connecticut town in the middle of nowhere. Because this is where psycho shit happens.
Yep.
It's an education, really.
You live in a small town. You live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. There's at least 5 serial killers in that town.
Probably live next door to one.
You might live with one if that's your wife listening to that.
Tangent. Serial killer move. You know, they call it pre-crime. My next door neighbor put up Christmas lights in his backyard. That's crazy.
Can you view the backyard from anywhere?
I'm the only one who can see his backyard.
So wait. He's giving you a private Christmas tree.
He's got a fucking Christmas tree on his deck right now, fully lit. He's got all the garland and the lights wrapped around the railing. I'm the only one that can see him. It's
Are you
crazy.
sure you can't see it from a road?
Positive. I live in a cul-de-sac, and he's in like the weird kitty corner where only his backyard is visible by me and another neighbor.
Yo, that's bizarre.
It's crazy, right? I feel like I should report him.
It's really weird.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it could be like, it's really weird in a sense that like this dude just genuinely loves Christmas.
But there's no lights in the front of his house.
What? Wait. He didn't decorate the front of his house?
That can't be true.
No, I'll take a picture of it.
You have to report this next week.
Take a picture.
He's testing out the lights and just left them there. They will be moved next week. If not,
Jimmy,
that's some serious.
These are intricately placed properly.
Or he gave up. He was like, he did the back first and he's going to do the front, maybe. I could understand if he really loves Christmas. But if he just leaves the back, you need to kill him before he kills you and your wife.
I think it's the only choice.
Yeah. No jury in the country would find you guilty.
I mean, when we hang up, I hope he's still on. I'm going to take a video, like walking from my front yard to my back, and I'll show you. If not, I'll do it tomorrow night.
Okay.
The only saving grace is maybe he decorated his deck first and he's working in the front like tomorrow or the next weekend, maybe. But it's crazy.
I like Christmas enough to where if you told me like I lived somewhere so remote but no one ever saw my house ever, I'd still light it for me, you know, to come home to or see sometimes. But to do the backyard,
I know.
It's so
and just the backyard too. That's
I don't special.
Like it. Yeah,
that's incredible.
All right, LJ, what's your recommendation?
So like I said, I'm still going on strong on Deadwood, but I won't say that again. Watch Deadwood. I watched Jim and Andy, the documentary on Netflix. Have you guys seen Man on the Moon when Jim Carrey plays Andy
No.
Kaufman.
Yeah.
Well, watch that movie or just research Andy Kaufman in general. But you don't need to watch those, or no, you can get it all from this documentary. It is fascinating. Like, I hate method actors, but what Jim Carrey did to make that movie is scary. My girlfriend
Really?
is scared for him. He didn't. He wasn't Jim. So they shot a documentary of the making of that movie, and they put the tapes away for 20 years because NBC or Universal, whatever studio he was contracted with, was like, we don't want people to see this because we don't want the general public to think you're an asshole because you're our biggest moneymaker right now. So it's been 20 years. The tapes have been in a vault. They just got them out. They watched them all, this crew, put it together, and then interviewed Jim Carrey now about it. And he's talking like, so 20 years ago, he was playing Andy Kaufman. And he's, instead of referencing like me as Andy, he's like, yeah, so Andy was doing that scene. And then like Andy Kaufman had different characters, one named Tony Clifton, and he just wouldn't break. And he would just transform into them for the full day. Bizarre shit. Andy Kaufman's daughter, who never met her dad in real life, came and met with Jim Carrey, but he was Andy Kaufman because he was like method acting and he's like blacked out through the whole, doesn't even really remember it. And he's just like, it's like Andy reincarnated so much that his daughter came. It's fucking weird, guys. It's so interesting.
Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix documentary. They did it. It's like an hour or
Wow.
something long. It's not that long, or maybe it's 2 hours long. I don't know, but it is worth it.
Is
interesting.
is there discernible like from Jim Carrey before Man in the Moon and Jim Carrey after? Is that where he went crazy? Because he did go crazy somewhere along the lines.
He talks about it, man, and like it's half crazy, and I half like it. I get it, and he talks about, and like when he's Tony Clifton was a character Andy Kaufman did that just shit talked everyone. He wasn't funny. He wasn't nice. He was just an asshole, and like people didn't understand the bit then and now either. But Jim Carrey became Tony Clifton, and he was on set just being fucking an asshole to everyone. Like Danny DeVito's there, Paul Giamatti's there. They're all like in the background, like, yo, this is wild.
Damn.
And Tony Clifton just shit talks Jim Carrey, but it's Jim Carrey, but he's Tony Clifton, and he's like fucking. He smiles all the time, but he's fucking miserable. He's depressed. He just smiles for the cameras. And it was like, and the documentary crew is like, is there any truth to what Tony Clifton was saying about you? He's like, yeah. So yeah, I think it was like he had his major run where he did like Truman Show, Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura,
Liar.
And then he did this one, and he kind of lost himself. He's a bizarre dude. He's like, it's like half of it's crazy, and then some, like a couple of it, I'm like, I get it, but you're crazy.
Wow. All right.
Oh fuck.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it came out like last week. It's new.
We'll check it out then for sure.
I'll give it a watch probably this weekend when I have free time.
Bizarre.
Nice. All right.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Six Pack Cinema. Tune in next week. Guess what, guys? We actually were all able to go see 3 Billboards, so we're going to bring you a 3 Billboards review.
Hell yeah.
Get to the outro. Love y'all.
All right.